Today I'm listening to this piece by Pascal Dusapin, who's a French composer. It's one of his 7 solos for orchestra called Clam. It's number 4, and it was completed in 1998 and premiered, it looks like, by the Orchestra of the capital of Toulouse. So, yeah, it's got an interesting front page. This is edition Salabert, which I think has done a number of spectral scores as well. Um, it's a French publishing house. So the instrumentation for this one is 4-4-5-4, 6-4-4-1, 3 percussionists and strings. Some doublings here, so there's 2 piccolos from that have to be taken from the 4 flutes. The 3rd oboe is on English horn throughout the piece. We got one of our clarinetists on E flat the whole time, one clarinetist on bass, and one of our bassoons is on contra the whole time. And the 4th trombone has to double on bass trombone. Now, percussion 1, looks like we got glockenspiel, 1 and a bit octaves, cymbal, snare drum, 3 toms, tempo blocks, and a gong pitched to D. And then percussion 2, we got tam-tam, gongs, bongos, the 3 other toms, tambour de basque, small cymbal, triangle, and their own snare drum, it looks like. Then percussion 3 is the one with bass drum, their own snare drum. They have 2 gongs, one pitched to B flat, one pitched to A, almost octave above. They have 3 of their own toms, and large cymbal, 3 tempo blocks, and their own glockenspiel that's 2 octaves, and 1 Charleston. Let me figure out what a Charleston is. I think that's French for hi-hat. So there you go. Lots of unpitched percussion, some glockenspiels, and some gongs that are pitched. And yeah, you can see it's a very large ensemble. Now, before we get into this, I'm going to have to give a little bit of Dusapin's bio because this is our first episode featuring his music. And then maybe I can figure out a bit more about this cycle of orchestra pieces. So Dusapin is a living composer. He was born in 1955, so he'd be nearing 70 or something. And he studied with Xenakis and Donatoni, and has some influences of Varese. And it seems that his education is not just in music. He's also very educated in other spheres like the sciences, which sort of drew him to Xenakis probably. He, I guess, was exposed to new music with a couple pieces, one of them being Arcana by Varese, which I believe is an orchestra piece. And then this other piece by Xenakis, which I'm not familiar with, called Polytope de Cluny, which is like a multimedia piece. So, yeah, the 70s is a time when, technology, we're not in the information age yet, so being able to hear things like that is really inspiring to a lot of people, and yeah, I think I can see how it would sort of jumpstart his career. Dusapin is interested in microtonality. He famously didn't write much piano music at all, despite being a pianist, until he wrote his piano etudes. And he doesn't write a lot for pitch percussion either. And I think one of the more interesting things about his music is he has some experience with jazz piano, and there is a jazz influence in his music. I'm not sure if we're going to hear that in this piece, but that's something notable, is there's like something improvisatory and rhythmically captivating and jazz-like about what he does. Now, the 7 solos for orchestra are listed here on his Wikipedia. Seems like he completed the last one in 2009. And yeah, it's like a song cycle. I guess they can be extracted, but they can also be listened to as a whole. And he said he wanted to get away from running times between 10 and 20 minutes. Oddly enough, this one, Clam, is exactly that. It's 11 minutes long, but maybe the other movements aren't like that. And these pieces, I guess, are closer to his own traditional... they're the closest thing to symphonies that he wrote. There's some traditional symphonic thinking, according to that Wikipedia article there. So, yeah, I'm intrigued. I think this one's 11 minutes because it's slow. I mean, it's only 40 pages of score. If you want the recording that I'm listening to, I really encourage you to listen along. I mean, that's the whole point here. It's in the video description, and I'll let you know anything that stuck out to me on this listen. Okay, yeah, so despite this being over 10 minutes, I think it really flew by. And I was immediately engaged with the piece. I think like the opening idea is very strong. He uses the whole ensemble, but in this really interesting way where the brass strings and winds are doing completely different things. And yeah, a lot of it, I understand the comparison to Varese, because a lot of it does remind me of like Varese in terms of its like energy and the rhythmic intensity of it, and the way it uses like specific pitch classes or keeps coming back to them. But it also reminded me of like Chelsea a little bit, just in the way it's stuck to like a couple notes sometimes. And yeah, it seems like he's really good at improvising with a couple pitches or a couple chords, and like he's really good at taking those improvisations and like putting it onto the page and making like some sort of dense contrapuntal thing out of it. There's some interesting like unison moments in different parts of the ensemble, and I think it really works for large orchestra because he's able to like either tease out a bunch of different harmonies from a single instrument, or like have a whole bunch of instruments play in unison and entering at different times, kind of thing. Oddly enough, there is a program note on the YouTube video here, so of course the piece isn't about a clam per se. It's the title's taken from the Latin meaning, which means, let's see, the form of a living being that is only fashioned by external forces. So I guess that's one way of that Pascal can like conceptualize intuition and how he uses intuition to compose. He has a more technical explanation here that the musical material detaches itself from the harmonic surface. So there's like obviously this opening I'm talking about, the like high flutes versus the natural string harmonics, which are all this high stuff is like suspended above muted brass, which sits underneath. Yeah, I think I've gotten the gist of it. So hopefully you enjoyed this new composer that we're looking at. I don't have a lot of his scores, but I do have this orchestra piece, and yeah, he does seem like a fascinating composer, and certainly a big name in terms of like modernist composers in Paris in the 20th century.